Disappears with their money, but wait till you hear what else she's done, like threatening to hijack a plane.
I-Team 12 investigates. The 10 o'clock news starts in 15 seconds.
Live, Kurt Ludlow, Shauna Parsons, meteorologist Rod Hill, and Tim Becker Sports. This is the 10 o'clock news.
Good evening. A long and difficult journey comes to an end tonight for the family of a missing former intern.
Human remains found in a Washington park today have been identified as Chandra Levy. KPTV's Anna Katayama joins us now live with more on the story. Anna?
Kurt and Shanna, Chandra Levy's remains were found not far from her apartment today. They were found in a 1,700-acre park, a park that police had searched many times before. A man walking his dog and looking for turtles in Rock Creek Park stumbles across human remains.
There were other articles recovered that gave us a very, very strong suspicion that it was probably the body of Chandra Levy, but the final determination was made as a result of the analysis of the dental work.
Police found a jogging bra and other items of female clothing nearby. The remote, steep, wooded area is about 4 miles from Levy's apartment.
It's very emotional. It's very tough. Certainly no parent ever thinks that they would bury their child.
A spokesperson for Bob and Sue Levy says D.C. police called the family today to tell them of the discovery.
Although the discovery of Chandra's body closes one chapter and brings some resolution to this ordeal, it does not, and I repeat, it does not solve the mystery of what happened to Chandra.
Police are stopping short of calling the Levy case a homicide, but the family believes autopsy results will show Chandra was killed. Chandra's disappearance 13 months ago led to the demise of her hometown congressman's political career. His office issued this statement today. Congressman Gary Condit and family want to express their heartfelt sorrow and condolences to the Levy family. The Levy family will remain in our prayers. Condit admits to an affair with Levy, but police say he is not a suspect in Levy's death.
I think the only thing I would like to pass on from the Levys is that both of them are going to show the same resolve that they've shown all the way through this investigation, with continuing their plight to find out who actually did this, not only to Chandra, but to other missing people.
A Smithsonian anthropologist is helping the medical examiner analyze the bones that were found today. They're trying to figure out when and how Chandra Levy was killed, because this, of course, will help police determine whether there is a killer out there or if this is a case of suicide or perhaps death by natural causes. Back to you.
All right, Anna, thank you.
Coming up later on the 10 o'clock news, we'll take you inside the lab of crime reconstructionists. Find out how forensic scientists discover identities from the smallest clues. That's coming up later on the 10 o'clock news.
A woman is charged with assault and reckless driving after plowing into a school bus this afternoon. Witnesses say Brenda Gray was speeding when she ran a red light on Columbia. That put her right in the path of a school bus full of kids. 3 of those students and the bus driver were taken to the hospital with minor injuries.
And I went in, checked on the bus, checked on the lady. Some people helped the lady out of the car. And the bus driver was pretty shooken up, but the kids were fine. They all had seatbelts in that bus.
Gray was also hurt in the accident, her passenger seriously so. Police are investigating Gray for a possible drug-related DUI.
An Oregon State Police recruit has been indicted, accused of murdering his pregnant wife. A grand jury in Jackson County handed down the indictment to 32-year-old Gary Rep Jr. Investigators say he shot his 29-year-old wife, Carrie. Her body was found in the couple's home. She was 3 months pregnant. The couple was going through a divorce, but they were said to have been trying to reconcile. Rep has since been fired from OSP. Nearly 2 years after Portland banker Wayne Olson was murdered in his home, one of his killers pleads guilty to aggravated murder and kidnapping. 19-year-old Madero Prince Moon will spend life in prison with the possibility of parole in 30 years. He'll also testify against 24-year-old Calvin Davis, who is also accused in the murder. Prostitute Jessica Reidman is spending 17 years in prison for her part in the crime. She said Olson was a customer of her private escort service, and when she was called to his home in August of 2000, she and the two men shot Olson and then ransacked his house.
A Tualatin teacher accused of sexually abusing students is going to prison. 58-year-old Ronald Reeling pleaded guilty to sex abuse and rape he taught at Tualatin Valley Junior Academy. Reeling had sex with a 13-year-old girl and fondled two 14-year-olds. He's expected to be sentenced to more than 6 years in prison.
Someone is stealing American flags from homes and businesses in Marion County and then burning them. Sheriff's detectives and police report at least 30 flags missing. Some blackened remnants have been recovered. As KPTV's Jim Hyde reports, new complaints about desecration of the flag are pouring in.
Unfurling the evidence is distasteful duty for these officers. They wear the flag on their uniforms. They have sworn to serve and protect the citizens of the country it symbolizes. The repeated stealing and burning wants explanation.
There's been no indication that this has been done for any political purpose. They've just ended up burnt. Nobody's called and said, we've burned the flags and here's where they are.
Turner Police Chief Ron Stevens, who's also a veteran and member of the American Legion, began receiving theft reports late last week.
I just don't know what would motivate someone to do this.
A brand new flag flies over this farmhouse outside Turner. It replaces one stolen Thursday night. The owners could not identify their banner among the burned evidence investigators have found at 3 rural sites around Marion County.
Somebody had actually just cut the string, took the flag.
How do you feel?
Pretty upset by it. I can't believe somebody would do that. That's my freedom. That I, respect that flag. My family and all my friends respect that flag, and to have somebody come in my yard and take my flag is just wrong.
The neighbor has replaced hers, too. Some of these burned flags were recovered at a site in South Salem. Witnesses told detectives they saw 3 high school-age girls carrying a bunch of flags.
Subsequent to that, once information started to circulate, people started calling in saying, yes, I also have a flag that's been stolen. And then subsequently had information from citizens who witnessed possible suspects with flags in their hands moving off to an area to possibly burn them. And we recovered flags from those locations as well.
Officers said a reward for arrest and conviction of the flag burners is up to $300 and growing. In Salem, Jim Hyde, the 10 o'clock news.
Now, investigators are looking for help on the case. Anyone with information is asked to call Marion County Detective Chris Melgard at 503-540-8097.
It was a rough and tumble primary election with ballots pouring in just before last night's deadline. Many money-related measures were defeated, and there were plenty of surprises when it came to the candidates. KPTV's Monica Guza gives us a final rundown on the election results.
Both of the winning candidates for the governor's race appeared this morning on Good Day, Oregon. Kevin Mannix won a close 3-way race for the Republicans.
I've said, look, there's not going to be a tax increase unless the voters approve it, drawing a firm line where I say trust the voters.
Ted Kulingoski easily defeated his opponents 2-1 to become the Democratic candidate.
Mr. Mannix clearly positioning himself as the no new taxes candidate. What's your position on new taxes?
Well, he asked me that question at a forum down at Willamette University, and I told him I wouldn't do it.
Even with the exciting primary race, Oregon's voter turnout topped off at only 42%, higher than state officials expected, but not high enough to pass revenue measures.
I was also very encouraged that the vast majority of school bond levies and library bond levies actually passed. A few of those, of course, will be negated because of the double majority.
This double majority law meant a number of measures to raise taxes for libraries, schools, parks, and fire districts failed. Clackamas County's community safety measure failed on both counts, which troubles the sheriff.
So our overcrowding early release situation, which is pretty bad in this county, will continue to grow.
And a controversial measure to take $220 million from a protected fund to help with school funding failed in a very close race.
I think that ballot measure 13 was simply a referendum on the wisdom of a short-term 1-year fix for our schools versus some revenue that would sustain the educational system.
It's going to mean hundreds, if not thousands, of layoffs across the state. It'll mean reduced programs, and that's why we fought so hard to try to pass Measure 13.
The defeat of these education issues leaves many unsolved education shortfalls. Monica Guza, the 10 o'clock news.
Governor Kitzhaber says he will seriously consider calling for an income surtax to deal with the state's growing deficit. He plans to propose a budget balancing plan in a speech next Tuesday in Eugene.
Election officials say they are pleased with voter turnout, even though it wasn't enough to pass the money measures. Nearly 45% of registered voters statewide cast ballots in yesterday's primary. That did exceed some projections that turnout would fall below 40%. It was also above that of many other states. Turnout was particularly high in rural counties. Gilliam County was the highest with 67%. Morrow County had the lowest turnout with 28%. Multnomah, Washington, and Clackamas County stayed right around the average. Well, tonight we'd like to know, if the election were held today, who would be your choice for Oregon governor? That's our 12 Talkback online poll question tonight. Log on to our website, Oregons12.tv, and see results on tomorrow's 10 o'clock news.
Coming up, a music legend regroups for a special concert. We'll tell you where you can see the Grateful Dead one last time.
Also, a wedding guide goes bad in Portland. I-Team 12 finds the bizarre history behind the guide and the person putting it together.
Plus, the king of home improvement is sued by an Oregon woman. We have details of Bob Vila in court just ahead.
On the weather deck tonight, it's dry. Pretty nice evening. Our high temperature today for the 10th time this month stopped in the 50s. The high was 59 degrees. The rainfall total right around 1/10 of an inch in some cities across the Willamette Valley this afternoon. Coming up, we'll talk about the weekend more in detail. My forecast tonight's at 10:32.
Taken against their will. My real name is Chakotay. Members of my crew were abducted.
The memory centers of her brain have been radically altered.
One by one, the crew must trust the truth. Will you help us? Before someone erases their lives forever.
Don't move!
On the next Star Trek Voyager.
Tonight on KPTV, Oregon's 12.
Modern life. Too much to do, not enough time. The whole thing can tie you up in knots. Wouldn't it be great just to come home and dive into perfect relaxation? Oregon Hot Spring Spas.
1, 2, 3.
The Buick Drive is alive.
1, 2, 3.
The Great American Car Company delivers 1.9 APR on every new 2002 Buick. Or 2,000, even 3,000 cash back. 2,000 on Buick's remarkable rendezvous, offering the best of a luxury sedan, minivan, and SUV. An amazing 3,000 on LeSabre, America's best-selling full-size 10 years running. See your participating Northwest Buick dealer.
These days, anything more than a week old is called a classic. By that measure, the leftovers in your refrigerator will soon be classics. So at Parker, we were searching for new words to describe the furniture that has been an American icon for 100 years, until we realized one word will do. Stickley. At Parker Furniture's Stickley Savings Event, you'll find the most complete collection of Stickley styles anywhere and tremendous values on all of it. So hurry to Parker for the Stickley Savings Event. Parker Furniture, an original for 50 years.
The Memorial Day sale is going on now at Meyer & Frank. Save 25 to 50% on the best names in swimwear during our annual swim price break. Plus, save 25 to 50% store-wide. And don't forget to bring your bonus coupons to save an extra 15% on your entire sale or clearance purchase.
The right choices make all the difference.
The Memorial Day sale at Meyer & Frank.
It's Car Toys Memorial Day sale. Buy 4 Nokia phones for $0.01 each and get up to $500 in bonuses, including Amazon.com gift certificates totaling $300. All with your choice of family plans from Verizon Wireless.
Car Toys. Better way to go. Everybody loves Raymond, where love is a full contact sport.
Weeknights on KPTV, Oregon's 12. You're watching the 10 o'clock news.
Welcome back. Environmental officials have levied the biggest ever pollution-related fine against one company.
The Department of Environmental Quality says 9 gas stations controlled by the Kane Petroleum Company are polluted, perhaps heavily. KPTV's Ryan Deal is live at one site in Hillsborough. All right, Ryan, what does all of this mean for people who may live near these sites?
Well, Kurt and Shauna, for one site next door, the Tuality Hospital, it means a lot of money. Behind me, the site of their new cancer center, it's under construction right now, so it is ironic what's happening right over here. Pumps and filters pumping out cancer-causing chemicals from within the ground. Those chemicals have been seeping for years, according to the DEQ, from huge tanks beneath this gas station.
But take a look, there's no pumping or cleaning here, just one reason, for those huge fines. $1.43 million. That's what the Department of Environmental Quality is forcing the Kane Petroleum Company of Forest Grove to come up with. Neighbors to any one of these 9 sites may already be coughing up a lot more.
Benzene is a known carcinogen, so it's been linked to leukemia and a number of different cancers. At right concentrations, short-term exposures can pose other kinds of health effects.
Carcinogens seeping into the soil for years from leaky underground tanks at 9 Kane gas stations, according to the DEQ. The leaks were discovered in the late 1980s at hundreds, if not thousands, of gas stations. But at most, the cleanup has begun or is complete. But at the 9 Kane sites, warnings and other orders for cleanup were not followed, says the DEQ's Andre Pollock.
Once we realized that they were not proceeding with the actions that we need to be done on these sites, we met with them a second time.
Today's fine would come more than 10 years later for reasons like Tuolumne Hospital. The hospital itself is footing the bill for the cleanup beneath its new cancer center. The dangers being filtered away are anyone's guess. The DEQ says Kane was also sluggish with state-ordered risk assessments.
Each site has to be evaluated independently to know whether there's a risk to people right now or not.
In a written statement, the Kane Petroleum Company says it strongly disputes the fine and the allegations. Our company is committed to operating our stations in as safe a manner as possible. We have spent over $2.3 million investigating and cleaning up those leaks since 1988. Now tonight, the company also tells me it wanted to install cleaning equipment similar to this at several sites in 1998. They tell us the DEQ would not let them at that point. We have no idea why or whether or not that's true. But Kurt and Shauna, as the pumps continue behind me, the company says they are going to fight this fine.
And the fine was, how much was it again?
$1.43 million is the fine. And we're talking 9 sites. 2 of the sites are most troublesome to the DEQ. This is one of them because the petroleum that has leaked out of those tanks, they say, is floating on top of the groundwater and could pose a concern to drinking water if it's not dealt with pretty quickly.
All right, Ryan Dale reporting live tonight. Ryan, thank you.
You're welcome.
The master of home improvement is having to build a case in an Oregon court. Bob Vila is being sued by a Eugene woman. Carol Berger claims Bob Vila continuously kicked her airplane seat on a flight from Denver to Eugene back in 1997. She says she suffered back injuries, ongoing pain, and mental anguish ever since. She wants Vila to pay her $126,000. Vila's lawyer says he's innocent, doesn't even remember the details of that flight. He may take the stand this week in his own defense.
It could cost you more to flush the toilet or get a drink of water in Portland this summer. The city council is considering sewer, water, and garbage rates. The water rate hikes. The water rates would rise just about 9%, about $14 a month. Sewer rates would go up about 8% to $39 a quarter, and garbage rates would rise a little less than 3%, about 50 cents a month. The city says the water rate hike is needed to help pay for covering the city's open-air reservoirs. The sewer rate hike will help pay for a 20-year storm sewer replacement plan. The garbage rate hike will pay for a boost in dumping fees. The council will talk about all of this tomorrow. The state is hoping to find the owners of thousands of dollars worth of unclaimed property left behind in safe deposit boxes. Take a look at some of these treasures. Everything from jewelry and rare coins to gold nuggets. These telegrams are worth millions in sentimental value. The first one is dated August 17th, 1950. It notifies a mother that her son has been wounded in combat in Korea. A second telegram just days later says he's been killed. Cheryl Gladden with the Division of State Land says items like these will eventually be offered to museums. The rest will be auctioned off, but she also says there are successful recoveries.
We understood that the box owner was deceased, and as we began to search for him, we were put in contact with his widow, and then in turn determined that he had a minor child. And sadly enough, her mother had died, and inside the box were lots of savings bonds for the child.
Gladden says the best way to locate your unclaimed property is to check the Trust Property Section's database on a regular basis. We've set up a link to that from our website. You can log on to Oregons12.tv.
Cash registers at the Portland airport are ringing in more money than expected. After September 11th, airport retailers expected a downturn in sales. But for some, it's actually up almost 30%. The airport's new C concourse has 13 new retailers that passengers can only access after they go through security. And the tougher security measures may be one reason for the surge in sales.
Passengers are coming through security much earlier than they were previously, and they have time to spend and time to eat, time to shop, and a lot of them are planning that in their trip.
Well, post-security retailers in the new C concourse are doing well. Sales for other stores in the pre-security area, like the Oregon Market, are down. Port officials say passengers are not lingering outside the pre-security areas as much as before September 11th. And once through security, they don't want to leave and have to go through the hassle all over again.
Many popular campgrounds on the Mount Hood National Forest will not be open in time for Memorial Day weekend. A late snowpack means several campgrounds in the higher elevations will remain closed a bit longer than usual. Campers who had reservations at Trillium Lake, Frog Lake, Clear Lake, Lost Lake, or Olali Lake will be notified of the change. Also, if you're headed to campgrounds along the White River, you'll want to take Highway 26 or 197. The route from Highway 35 is still snowed out.
Well, another round of celebrity boxing hit the airwaves tonight with quite an assortment of TV has-beens and ex-athletes.
Yeah, it's really more entertainment than sports, but we're leaving the dirty work to sports director Tim Becker anyway.
Lucky
He joins
guy.
us now. Look at who won.
Maybe you can answer, put into words, why do we watch this stuff? We do.
It's like watching a train wreck, right? You can't take, you almost don't want to watch, but you can't help yourself.
That must be it. It's out there for the taking, and we watch. It's reality TV's round number 2 as both the famous and infamous step into the ring in a modern-day version of ancient Rome's gladiator spectacles, only instead of fighters, we got Horshack, Screech, and Joey Buttafuoco. Former Olympic gold medalist Olga Korbut faced TV bride Darva Conger in one of the 4 mismatches. Conger, with a decided size advantage, went after the 47-year-old Korbut the entire 3 rounds. She won by unanimous decision. Then there's Ron Palillo, a.k.a. Horshack, from Welcome Back Kotter against Dustin Diamond from Saved by the Bell. Only it was Horshack who needed to be saved by the bell. The much bigger Diamond winning by technical knockout. Feature match of the night, Joey Buttafuoco against China of WWF fame. And Buttafuoco didn't endear himself to the fans when he tossed her to the mat right there. Third round, she's going to land a solid punch. Boom, there it is. Buttafuoco, though, counters with a flurry, and hey, it ain't pretty, but I guess it is real. Buttafuoco won that fight by majority decision. Well, that was their feature match. Hot Shots tonight is my feature match. A study in contrast. Former Chicago Bear William Refrigerator Perry taking on 7'7" Manute Bol, an ex-NBA player. First round, just when Bol landed a good punch, the 400-pound Fridge just crushes him up against the ropes right there. Third round, Bol scores more points with a few punches, and then the Fridge turns into a human bulldozer one more time. There he goes. These guys, they didn't do much in the ring, but they didn't have to. Just seeing them side by side is worth admission alone. At least I believe that. And there you have it, another human train wreck, as Sean has said. A visual curiosity, to say the least, come and gone, with every one of the celebrities coming away winners because they earned $30,000 each for just a few minutes in the ring.
And who won that round with Refrigerator and
Manute Bol won that one.
Really?
Yeah, he did.
We thought he'd be snapped like a twig.
It sure looked like it, but Fridge just never went after him, so
thank you. Yeah.
Coming up, Rod says our weather will be drying out, but for how long? Details in his pinpoint forecast.
Also a high-speed chase with a violent ending, an armored car heist just ahead.
Plus new help for people wanting to stop smoking. Water. Details coming up on the 10 o'clock news.
Y'all ready for this? Ready for the choices. Something rugged, something powerful. It's Toyota's nationwide summer event featuring our top trucks. Right now, get financing as low as 1.9% on the powerful Tundra and rugged Tacoma. Or you can choose $700 customer cash back on Tundra or $500 customer cash back on Tacoma. Don't wait. Y'all ready for this? Get the Toyota you've been wanting now. We're ready. Are you?
Hello? It's the information age, sweetheart. You leave a trail everywhere. This Friday, I want you back. See why sneak preview audiences were on their feet. Did he hurt you?
No.
Cheering for Jennifer Lopez.
I attack. I never stop attacking. This is what you wanted, right?
In the movie that rocks the summer. You want to fight me? You sure that's fair?
Fair to whom?
Enough. Rated PG-13. Opens everywhere Friday.
Deadheads have something to be grateful about. The band is getting back together for the first time in 7 years. Find out where and when coming up.
There's a new dawn in America. Things are different now. And at the Associated Builders and Contractors, construction workers are being trained to help build America.
I was so impressed and excited with ABC's Low Voltage Apprenticeship program that throughout my apprenticeship, I had the opportunity to refer 8 of my friends. And now they're on the career path of their choice.
Associated Builders and Contractors Apprenticeship Program. The best quality, the best people to build America stronger than ever.
Tonight's weather report on the 10 o'clock news is brought to you by your local Jeep dealers. Jeep, there's only one.
Jeep vehicles are known for capability. And now during the Jeep Challenge, we rule on a whole new level. Starting with our 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain pledge on engines and transmissions. Combined with up to $2,500 cash allowances. Or financing as low as 0% on select models. So take the Jeep Challenge. You'll see we're hard to beat.
Hey, you guys got to give me a head start next time.
Great products, great protection, great values. Take the Jeep Challenge. Check one out at your Jeep dealer.
If you're planning a wedding, you might turn to a wedding guide to find local businesses to make it work.
But some say a Portland wedding directory turned out to be bad news, a marriage of sweet talk and disappearing money. I-Team 12 investigates. Here's Carrie Tomlinson. Carrie?
Well, Portland companies tell us the wedding guide concept is a great one. So when a saleswoman came around, they went for it. But they had no idea they would lose their money, and also they knew nothing about this woman's strange background in the Northwest.
That's great. Okay, just both of you looking right there. Right there, good.
Nate Hillman of Portland is a teacher during the week.
Okay, I'm going to get a little closer up here.
On weekends, he works weddings. He thought new advertising could bring in new business.
And she put her little sample brochure out there on the counter and promised that she could help get me a whole lot more customers with this new directory.
Nate says a businesswoman named Barbara Weller sold him on this. Her wedding website, the Northwest Wedding Directory, plus a printed publication to hand out at bridal shops. She wanted him to do photo shoots for other advertisers, plus a few shots of her just for fun.
She was just a real sort of a motherly woman next door type you could just chat with over the fence about anything.
The cost for his ad, almost $1,000. Nate says he paid, and she disappeared.
And there has been absolutely no response, dead silence. She has just dropped off the face of the earth.
That's when the complaints started pouring in.
She definitely came across to being a very honest, straightforward person.
Gordon Ross says his limousine company in Portland paid Barbara Weller, too.
She knew the talk. She definitely knew the talk.
Another limo company bought in as well.
I figured I'd give it a try.
Owner Eric Benson says Barbara Weller was very professional with a well-designed brochure and printed contracts.
I mean, she had all her ducks in a row. There was no reason to doubt it.
And Brad Smith signed up at his bakery in Portland.
She was a very wonderful person to talk to, very knowledgeable, very informative.
Her victims say she traded recipes, called often, and made you feel like a close friend.
I hope in my heart that it wasn't a scam on her part. I hope that the business that she tried to create didn't work. And she's just embarrassed to get a hold of anyone and say, my project failed.
But I-Team 12 has found this saleswoman, Barbara Weller, has a history of bizarre activity, including a situation in Washington very similar to this one in Oregon. The owner of this website, The Wedding Guide out of Colorado, says he hired Barbara Weller to create a guide for the Seattle area last year. He says Barbara Weller sold advertising and planned a bridal show at a local hotel, the Embassy Suites in Tukwila. But he says she disappeared just before the show in April 2001, taking the money with her, once again leaving her customers like brides at the altar.
Very disappointed, a little embarrassed, very jilted.
I would hope that that wasn't her original intention. It is appearing that way now, though.
And there's more. After she disappeared in Seattle, she showed up here at the Bremerton Airport with a stolen car. Sheriff's Department reports show she said she was planning on hijacking a plane or sitting on the runway until the FBI arrived. Deputies arrived and arrested her. She was convicted of possession of stolen property. But court records show she never reported to her probation officer. As she was selling ad space in Portland, the Department of Corrections put out a warrant for her arrest. She may have learned some of her advertising skills here in Spokane in 1997 when she worked for GTE Directories. A coworker claimed she was harassing him, sending him strange notes, speaking of love and weapons. She claims the words were meant figuratively, not literally. He got a restraining order. She moved on. Barbara Weller finally responded to our messages with an email explanation. She says she never intended to scam her Portland customers. She says business went sour, customers didn't pay, competitors were out to stop her, and her web design team suddenly charged too much and shut down her site. She says she's still planning to put her guide together.
It's too bad. It's too bad.
That brings us back to Portland, where people are still waiting.
Still to this day, have not heard from her since the day she took my money.
They have only this, a final picture of Barbara Weller waving her middle finger at the camera. It was taken in a lighter moment, but now for some, it's a symbol of how she operates.
Just had this sense of disbelief. I can't believe that this could happen. I guess from the start, she knew she was scamming us.
So, where is Barbara Weller now? It's hard to tell. She did her business out of a post office box in Vancouver, and the post office tells us it is still active. However, no sign of her there. People in the Seattle area, though, who knew her say they've received messages from her recently, telling them she's got quite a story to tell.
Well, she sure does. It's obvious how powerful her personality is and how effective it is that all these people are saying, well, I just don't want to think that she scammed me. I'm hoping it was this or this. They really liked her.
They all liked her very much as a friend, and they say she just poured it on and spent so much time working with them that they couldn't believe someone would spend all that time doing something that turns out to be nothing.
Maybe we should get a movie deal out of all this.
This would be a good one, wouldn't it?
Thanks, Gary. Well, if you have a story for I-Team 12, give us a call at 503-736-0412 or drop us an email at iteam12@kptv.com.
In tonight's HealthCast, man's best friend could be responsible for one of man's common ailments. Researchers say having a household pet, especially a dog, may increase the risk of asthma in adolescents. Investigators found that older children and teens were 60% more likely to develop asthma if they own a pet. A new study that's sure to make your stomach turn. Researchers say most raw chicken found on grocery store shelves is contaminated with at least some fecal bacteria. And what's worse, most of these bacteria showed resistance to antibiotics commonly used to treat human illness. So researchers say the best approach is just to cook the chicken until it falls off the bone. This will kill the bacteria. And you've heard it before, smaller portions equal a smaller waistline, but keeping portions perfect is easier said than done. This is a great idea. An Ohio dietitian has invented a plate that can help you become a smart eater. The Perfect Portions plate is divided into sections by food group. It comes with menus that slide under the plate and show recommended portion sizes and substitutions. Developers say the plate will train us to eat smaller, healthier portions.
That is a smart idea.
I love it.
Well, a new bottled water may help cut smoke breaks in half. It's called Nika Water. Bottled water with nicotine in it, and it will appear in stores this July. The idea, smokers can drink it when they can't smoke, such as on a plane or in a restaurant, but it hasn't been approved by the FDA, and it may not have the safeguards that nicotine patches or gum have to make them less attractive to children.
All right, Roger, it's now to talk about the weather.
Yes, dry out there right now.
Yeah.
Except for some spots in northeastern Oregon. Meacham's getting some light rain, but for the rest of us, it's over for a while.
It is.
Yes. We have
sun is on its way.
Coming. It is, sir.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome. Take a look at high temperatures across the state of Oregon on this Wednesday. 59 in Portland. I mentioned up on the weather deck the 10th day this month. That's almost half of the days. We've only been in the 50s. 16 of the 22 days so far this month for the city of Portland have been below normal. Well, a chilly May continues to be. Barely in the 60s in Eugene and Salem at 61 each. Newport had 55. Burns at 57. Might be some rain around yet tonight for you folks in Pendleton. Your high temperature was 65 today. Up in Washington State, temperatures, and look at Spokane. They had rain and deep, thick cloud cover today, only 48. The same thing down in Pullman, only 48 for them. Seattle today had 61. Kelso, you folks had 63. Long Beach, you had 66. The forecast check. Okay, I wasn't too hot last night. I said we'd have the chance of showers in the morning and then it would be dry in the afternoon. Absolutely not. We had showers scattered all day long. I said 60. Of course, it was colder than I thought because of that. I said 66 is only 59, and this morning's low was 49. Worst forecast I've given you since the second day of the month. 55 outside right now. We have a mixture of cloud cover. 49 is the dew point. Barometer's on the rise. We have light variable winds of 5 miles per hour. I mentioned it's dry here in the west, and for the most part, we're done with the rain, and we will be looking for sunshine and dry weather over the coming days. Two flows on the satellite picture, which is kind of fun to look at. This flow, if you look carefully, you can tell the clouds are kind of coming this way, up from the east. That's from a low that's now well off to our east. That cyclonic flow is still spiraling cloudiness back across Washington State. We're out of that now. Second flow is now what we're used to, coming in from the Pacific. A little bit of moisture trying to sneak in, but we're kind of in the gap. These clouds should get held up a bit, and we should be in the gap tomorrow. Maybe some cloudiness kind of coming in, but for the most part, partly sunny skies tomorrow to mostly sunny times and a really nice day. The bad weather this evening coming across Kansas, pushing into Missouri and Iowa, where you see the watch boxes. Thunderstorms have really quieted down. There was a tornado in Gaylord, Kansas, a little bit earlier tonight. 67 in New York today. Warm in the nation's midsection. 78 in Kansas City. Denver today, 69. It was 61, as we mentioned, up in Seattle, 64 in Reno. Look at Anchorage, 68 degrees. I'll take you up to the state of Anchorage, or in the state of Alaska, rather, 68 degrees. Fairbanks had 80. They've had 80 several times this week. It's been really, really warm up in Alaska. It's because of that cyclonic flow that cooled us off, sent warm air way up here. They're going to start to cool down. We should start to warm up as we get going into the coming days. Okay, your forecast for the Oregon coast tomorrow. North Bend, how about mostly sunny skies, 63 after a morning low of 43. Dry tomorrow.